Um, an easy answer about where the U.S. is going is, boy, I'm not sure. But I'm hopeful that we are going to try, you know, to protect ourselves, to get our country back together, so that maybe long term, you know, we could be more of a. I think all of a sudden, you know, the internet and everything, and I mean, we are such a global society now and everything. I don't think that systems and procedures and everything is ready to handle the world as it is. It's evolved too much, and we're going along, and it seems like that we're putting band-aids on things that don't work anymore, or trying to revamp something or re-engineer something versus rethink a way to work in the world, to be around the world, because physically things have changed. I mean, the speed of sound is nothing now. You know, I mean, so it's like you can communicate with anybody anytime. People have much more accessibility to information. Third world nations can't even be called third world nations anymore, truthfully. I mean, they're almost at a par because of the internet with a lot of things they can do and how we deal with people. The potential for war right now, to me, I'm really worried about, especially if the Republican Party gets in and it's as hard line as being professed right now, if we're not going to get into a situation where somebody will flip the switch. I'm very concerned, you know, with ISIS, these groups like that. I think you take a look, the Russians just got beat to death in Afghanistan. We're doing the same thing. It seems like that we just keep putting ourselves into these situations. I think we got to get out, phase out, get our shit together domestically, and then start talking about how we deal with the rest of the world. You still have to, I'm not saying close us off and just, you know, close the rest of the world out, but slow it down a little bit. Let's take a look at how we're running things. Let's not try to put band-aids on a system that's broken. Let's take a look at getting a system. If there is any possible way, I think we're going to have more gridlock no matter who gets elected this time. And that's the thing that bothers me the most. The reason I'm concerned about the government, I have no faith in their ability to really represent us anymore. And I think that they're an entity unto themselves, and they spend their whole time campaigning to be where they are, and then nothing ever gets done. And I think the cycle in here is just too narrow. They spend 2 years, you know, they come in, they clean up the last regimes, what they're doing, start to implement their regime, then they spend the next half of it campaigning. So it's this constant change. And, you know, there's gridlock. It's this nonstop gridlock. Nothing is getting done. I'm concerned that nothing's going to get done going forward here for the next election, no matter who gets elected, whether the person I want does or doesn't. I don't think anything's going to change. I think we're going to be in gridlock. And the only thing that I'm really concerned about is if somebody pulls a switch and somebody blows up, you know, some country. I think that's really, I forgot about that. From like the 60s, I used to be afraid as a little kid because of the Russians. And I used to, you know, I would think about it at night, and it bothered me. All of a sudden, everything went away, and I never thought about that anymore. For the first time in my life, in the last 2 years maybe, I'm starting to think about the fact that somebody could pull the bomb again. There's enough radical groups out there, there's enough fissionable material out there that people get it, and money can get anything. You could be Satan and still get, if you had the money to pay somebody on the earth, they would take it and blow somebody without any compunction about blowing up another country because they got the money. I'm concerned that there's a long road for America to go, a long road for the world to go, and especially if America's having problems, because I do believe we are the most benevolent nation and the biggest giver and a good guide overall for the rest of the world to follow a system that seems to work. And when it was working right, before we tried to become everybody's everything and are politically correct to the point that it's insane that nothing gets done. So I'm not optimistic about what's going on the next 5 to 10 years.